So, welcome everyone to Propel. My name is Chandler. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you came in, and if you haven't been here in a while, some things haven't changed. On your seat are those connection cards. Make sure you fill those out. Later on, offering bucket's going to come around and you can just drop it right in there. So, this week, I'm trying to think of what can I do to prepare for you guys. Last week, I dropped, or not last week, last time I was up here, we did a little Fresh Prince, if you guys remember that. And, you know. So, this week, I'd like to welcome you to Chandler's Poetry Slam. Let me set the mood for you.
What is it?
I'm gonna burn myself up here. All right, now if only I had a good DJ that could get some like mood music going, maybe that would set it up a little bit. I don't know. We're gonna try it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're like family here tonight. That's how we're gonna kick it off. Ready? So. Now I'm the king of the swingers, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, but that's what's bothered me. I want to be a man cub, stroll right into town, and be just like the other men. I'm tired of monkeying around. Oh, ooby-doo. I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you. You'll see it's true. Someone like me can learn to be someone like you. Rudyard Kipling. Thank you. So hopefully some of you guys got that. A little reference there. Little Jungle Book, Rudyard. Yep, nope, okay. So in case you missed it last week, Brandon broke it down to us about belonging and what it takes, you know, how we all want to feel this sense of belonging and where do we belong. And I kept a little bit of wisdom from the great philosopher of Pat Benatar. Yeah? Okay. The more I talk up here, the more I feel like I'm carbon dating myself. You know. It means I'm old. So, this week, the topic is going to be, who am I? Well, who am I? I'm Chandler, otherwise known as Chandler Squared or Chandler. I'm the marching band, water polo, chess club DJ, ultimate frisbee, piano playing biker nerd. That's who I am. Right? Each one of those has a great story with it. But you get none tonight. So, when I say nerd, it means I get all geeked up talking about like data federation, geospatial activity, electromagnetic spectrum, measurement and signals intelligence, refraction, reflection, absorption, transmission. Yeah, I can see like someone just had a stroke in the back row, like just no. But all those right there kind of mean I'm pretty active. But the key is being active doesn't always make you feel connected, if that makes sense. So, I mean, there are times when I've connected with great people throughout my life. But after a while, sometimes those connections, they never really feel real, or they just kind of fade out, and you never know why. And I think that's a problem we all have just growing up. I'll give you an example. Best friend growing up, we call it diaper days, but kindergarten, like K4, we were best friends. All the way up until high school, even in college. Like he was that guy, like I was that guy on the couch for him. Like I would just crash at his place, eat his Pop-Tarts, and he had no problem with it. But out of all the people I've met in that time frame, from middle school and high school, he's the only one left I still talk to from those days. Now, I don't know when that time frame happened. I want to say for most of it's high school. High school is really when you start looking at people different, like, I don't really hang with that person anymore. And what the excuse we say is, well, they've changed. Or, they too good for people anymore. Whatever it is. Maybe it's true. Or maybe you changed. So I'll give you food for thought. If you think about it, the closer you get to God, the more you think people change. So when you're on the right path with God and you're going, like, for those of you who've been to VN, it's like a spiritual retreat or camp or whatever the vernacular is. But it's a time when you just get closer to God. And when you're on your walk with Him, you kind of look at people, I don't want to say judgmental, but maybe we're going to say judgmental. And you say, I can't believe they hang out with that person. I can't believe they talk that. They're dropping F-bombs like commas. And you look at that because you're like, I wouldn't associate myself with that person because they live a lifestyle or they're doing things that I don't agree with according to my parents, my faith, whatever. But as you kind of stray from your walk with God and you find yourself hanging around those people you once said, I wouldn't hang around with them, then you start looking at the other people who are closer to God, like, oh, why are they so judgmental? They don't know me. Don't they know that only God and Tupac can judge me? And it's like, That's when you start dropping that H word, that whole hypocrite. It's like, oh, well, they're a hypocrite. They've done this, and, I saw them do this. But it's like, and then Brandon or Pastor Jeff, somebody talked about, the speck in someone else's eye and a big old piece of 2x4 in yours. So basically that means you can't always judge other people and look at their problems when your own life might not be as white as you think it is. So throughout that whole process, you're like, I'm not sure where I am. I'm not saying I'm unhappy, but I just don't feel connected. Which leads me to the question, have you ever felt disconnected? Which would be one of your first fill-in. So in Psalms, if you guys want to, I don't know if you guys have a little high-speed Bible app or whatnot, but in Psalm 22, man, like it drops some serious lyrics on you. It's up on the screen, but I'm going to read different parts of it from all 22 verses. And this is someone who wrote this, and this is how they felt when they feel disconnected. They said, my God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far away from me when I groan for help? Every day I call to you, my God, but you don't answer. Every night I lift my voice, I find no relief. But am I a worm and not a man? I am scorned and despised by all. Everyone who sees me mocks me. They shake their head saying, oh, aren't you the one that rely on God? Where's God? If the Lord loves you so much, then let him rescue you. I was thrust into your arms at my birth. You have been my God from the moment I was born. So don't stay so far away from me, because trouble is right here, and no one else can help me. My enemies are all around me like a herd of bulls. Lions, they open their jaws against me, roaring and tearing into their prey. My life is poured out like water. All of my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax melting within me. My strength has dried up like sun-baked clay. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You have laid me in the dust and left me for dead. My enemies surround me like a pack of dogs. An evil gang closes in on me. They have pierced my hands and feet. I can count on all my bones. My enemies stare at me and gloat. They divide my clothes amongst themselves and throw their dice at me for my clothing. O Lord, please do not stay so far away. You are my strength. Come quickly to my aid. Save me from the sword. Spare my precious life from these dogs. Snatch me from the lion's jaws and these horns of these wild oxen. I mean, if that's not someone just like pouring out their soul right there, I mean, that puts like Kurt Cobain to shame right there. I mean, Paramore, all your little emo bands that are like, oh, my life. I mean, my heart is like wax. I mean, this person right here is feeling isolation, frustration, unconnected. And there are so many people in this room that have felt that. And even in the Bible. Like the Bible isn't always, I mean, we talked about Samson and how, what happens when he got unconnected. But here we have, you guys have heard of Abraham. I mean, all the guy wanted was a kid. Just a kid. Hey, God, can I have a kid? Sure. Remember, God's answers are yes, no, and not right now? Well, his not right now turned out to be like 90 years. I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to have no kids at 90 years old. I mean, I'm 30 plus, and it's still hard for me to have them. So at 90, bless my heart, couldn't do it. It's not even worth the tax break. You got Joseph, who's like, didn't do anything wrong. His dad just gave him a little more love, said he was the favorite, got him some new FUBU gear. And what happens? Yeah, his brothers take his clothes, rip it up, and sell him into slavery, like a Chechnyan labor camp. Yeah, talk about feeling isolated, unconnected. Didn't do anything wrong. And you got Noah. I mean, here this guy has to build this boat, this ark, and just gather, 2 of every animal. And they say animal, but I'm wondering, that's ladybugs and mosquitoes and flies. I don't know how they made it, but still. I mean, you see this old guy just trying to catch ladybugs and little flies and trying, come on, no, come back, no, And everyone every day is like, hey, you're an idiot, you're a moron. Not even bless your heart, just like, I hope you're not going green chopping down a forest for your big boat. And he's like, hey, God, when's this flood going to happen? And he's just like, don't worry about it. It'll happen. So you're not the only ones who have felt this way. I mean, this is like way back in the day this has happened. But, believe it or not, God does want us to feel connected. And that's your second one. So in John 15:4, it says, remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. So, what does that mean? So far, Chandler, you've told me, me or my friends have changed. I'm not really sure what that means. And second, you got me second-guessing certain people that are in my life, and now I'm fruity. I'm lost. No. So, the further, if you look at yourself as being a fruit, whatever, it could be organic or GMO, I don't judge, banana, apple, orange, something that grows on a tree. As long as you're connected to that tree, you're going to grow. But the minute you're plucked away from that, what happens to the fruit? It starts dying. So if you look at the tree as God, like the tree's not going anywhere. Once the roots are laid out, it's not going anywhere. But if the fruit leaves, that's where the problem happens. So God's saying, look, as long as you're with me, I got your back. You just have to stay close. You got to be connected. The fruit's connected to the tree. See, I'm going to bring it back. It's all connected. So now, the question is, God wants us to feel connected. I don't feel connected, so how do I get connected? Well, 1 Peter 5, 6 through 7 says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." That doesn't mean just come to him during Christmas and Easter and say, "Dear God, thank you for the turkey. Dear God, thank you for dying." No, you got to come to him with everything. You can't hold back. Nothing good happens when you hold back. So you got to, as you cast all your anxieties on him, it's almost like you got to give him the good and the bad. Like Brandon said this morning, "Hey God, thank you that I have more TVs in my house than siblings." I mean, yeah. "Hey God, even though I have a hoopty for a car that my parents drive me and I'm embarrassed because it looks like a jitney, thank you that I don't have to walk everywhere." "Hey God, I'm really stressed out. Why are you having me go through all this friend drama? Why are you letting me have man friend and female friend drama? God, why am I having family problems?" You got to give him everything. "God, I'm so stressed out about life right now." He's like, "Don't worry, I got your back." But you have to tell him, or else he can't fix it. Just like your parents. You can't expect them to fix a problem if you don't tell them what the problem is. So how do you do this? Well, I narrowed it down to a few things. And one, I think you need to pray. That's how you talk to him. And that's the hardest thing we all struggle with. Some of us have even problems just praying at meal times. Afraid you're going to say the wrong thing. Or if we're in a group, like a small group, and it's like, "All right, Chandler, close us out in prayer." Oh, you get all palms all sweaty, and you're like, "Oh, my pits." And then you're like, "Oh, no. What do I say?" And you're like, "Oh, dear God, don't let me die. Amen." Hey, newsflash, you can't say anything wrong to God, no matter what you say to him. But it's just like when you start talking to a new friend, it's always awkward at first, but then after a while, you're just like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, your breath is a little rank today." You're like, "Oh, my bad." That's how you need to get on that level with God. Like, "Hey, God, help me. I don't know with what. Just help me. Peace, understanding, wisdom, something. I can't keep going the way I'm going right now because it's not working for me." So you got to pray. And every age has that problem. Not just you guys. Oh, yeah, right here. You got to unplug. Unplug from the matrix. What do I mean by unplug? Sometimes the hardest thing to do is just sit in silence. I've never experienced it myself, but rumor is that a female's mind never stops running. Like it doesn't. Even if it gets quiet, it's like, what am I going to wear next month? What am I going to say to this person? What does that smell? Is that me? Is that my upper lip? What is going on? And it's how it was broken down is in the female's mind, there's all these little boxes, right? Clothes, school, life, parents, and it just goes on. And in guys, we have a special box called a nothing box. And what's in it? Nothing. That's why, and we kind of get that half droop stare, almost kind of like we had a stroke. And like when we're watching TV and you're just like, "What you thinking about?" "Nothing." I mean, I can play Xbox and focus on the game. If I try to play with my wife, Kathy, she's playing it, but then she's like, I'm like, "What are you're missing the target. You got stormtroopers coming in. What are you doing, woman?" And she's like, "So we're going to have meatloaf tonight, or I'm thinking about a quinoa pasta." I'm like, "No, you need to think about the Galactic Empire. We're losing here." So it's hard. But even for guys, when we get on our nothing box, instead of just thinking about nothing, we need to focus that. Put it into a prayer box. But we have to unplug. And if that means taking your phone and turning it off, like after school for 3 hours, like some of you guys start going through like detoxing. You're like, "Oh, no, I can't do it." Like when the Wi-Fi goes out, it's like, oh. But imagine if just 3 hours after school, just shut it off. What are you going to do? Well, we're not doing homework, that's for sure. Can't do phone. You can talk. I don't want to talk to my parents. Well, talk to God. It's kind of like realigning your compass. Because if you don't let him know what's going on day to day and you only come to him with big things, it goes back to praying. So praying and unplug kind of go together. There's a thing that I do, I try to do, but it's try eating clean. Well, what does that mean, Chandler? Because listen, I love me some gluten. I'm not saying, you got to cut out gluten, but if you think of a car, what do we put in cars? Gas. Would you put, I don't know, paint in your gas can, in your gas tank? No. Some of you might put diesel in an unleaded, but so why don't you put paint in a gas tank of a car? It's going to break it, right? It's not going to work. So why put in your body stuff that's not going to make it work right? Because if you feel sluggish all the day, I mean, if you're eating cheesy poofs and, regret all day, and you feel sluggish, if your body feels like, regretful, then your mind can't focus because your mind is now focusing on your body and how you feel. You're like, oh, is that bubble guts? Is that acid reflux? I don't know what's going on. So just try it. Coming up here with the church, we have the Daniel fast. That's a great start. Or you give up something that just makes you feel after you eat it. Last thing is memorizing Bible verses. That's, once again, like all four of these kind of go with each other. We all know the Lord's Prayer. We all have certain, for all of sin comes short of the glory of God, or I can do all things, the verse in Philippians. We've heard it so many times. We've seen it on little memes. But when you're in trouble, where do you turn? Most of you turn right to your phone, and I need help. But if you turn to the Bible and you're like, oh, there's a verse that talks about something like this, or just even Google, what does the Bible say about anxiety? What does the Bible say about boy drama? And you'll have verses in there. What does the Bible say about girlfriends? Boom. It's all in there. All the answers are there. You just got to turn to the right thing. There's a manual. You don't, if you're trying to make, spaghetti, you don't open up a TV guide. Doesn't make sense. Bible has all the answers. As the band makes their way up, I found this line right here, and this sums up everything. Knowing yourself is knowing your Creator. But that relationship goes both ways. The more you get to know God, the better you'll get to know yourself. The better you get to know the person God created you to be, the better you'll get to know and love Him. So it's hard to love God if you don't even love yourself. How can you love someone who created you when you're not even happy with what He created? Ooh, ouch. Every morning when you guys wake up and look in that mirror and you're like, oh, if I could change this, if I had this, oh, why do I have this? What is that? But on your good days that you think is good, whether it's a good day or bad day, God's going like, you look on point today. Hey, I love what I made. I am happy with what I made. You just need to be happy with yourself. And you'll see, once that's the first step, pray about it. Hey, God, help me love me. Help me love your creation. So here's some next steps. I need help unplugging. There's all kind of issues. Some of you don't want to realize it, but it's like if that phone is less than 2 inches away from you, some of you sleep with it on your pillow. It's like, oh, it warms my brain, the amount of heat it puts out. But you might need help. Where do I start? Well, you got to unplug. Unplug from the matrix. Get that peace. Get that quiet. I will connect more. What does that mean? I'm going to connect more. Connect more Wi-Fi hotspots? What are we talking about? In this room, there's all kind of people, all kind of stories. And it would probably take over a year to learn everyone's true story in here. Because you'll talk to one person and they'll give you that acquaintance, I just met you story. Hey, what's up? I like pizza and soda. And that might be it for the next 2 weeks. And you might have to go to retreat or camp to get to know someone. And they'll finally open up and trust you. And they're like, you know what? You've sat next to me for the past 6 months in this youth group. I don't even know your name, I'll be honest. And then you start connecting. When you're stuck on a bus ride for like 5 hours, you have nothing to do but connect. But all around you, there's people that have gone through worse, and there's people that are going through it right now. And sometimes you guys just don't want to ask, I'll be honest, the old people for help. But if you ask your friends for it, and they're in the right place, your friends will know where to get the right answers from. Hey, my parents are going through this struggle right now. What do? I don't know, let me find out. And they'll go ask the hard questions. Last one is, I want to connect with Jesus and give him my anxiety. Why? Why wouldn't you? I don't want your anxiety. You don't want it. And for those of you who don't know what anxiety is, it's just when you're constantly worrying about something. It's just something. Life. Like you just cannot stop worrying or being stressed out. Like it would be great I know females, it'd be great to have a nothing box. Like, oh, dear God, please let me get a nothing box. But give him a chance, pray for it. Worst he can say is, not right now. So, when you guys fill that out, I really want you to fill it out and talk about it in your group. And whatever your small group is, and whoever's with it, check up on them every week. A text goes a long way. After you take that 3-hour break, text someone, hey man, I missed you last week. Everything okay? Because that text might say, you know what, they actually do miss me there. They do care about me. Maybe I'll come back. Because this is a place where we connect. We want to feel like we belong here. And I give great hugs too. So if you're not feeling connected, just... No? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and bow our heads. Let's go ahead and pray. Heavenly Father, thank you that we're just coming here to a place where we can just be ourselves. Just give you all of our worries and our anxieties and our cares and just come here and worship you and just be grateful for everything you've given us. I might not know who I am yet, but I know that I can connect here, feel like I'm wanted here, feel like I belong. God, be with me this week. Help me with school as I'm getting back in the swing of things. And just be with my parents as I go through the stress of the holidays. And help them to have the peace that I know they can have. In Jesus' name, amen.